If Trump does change the law and runs for a third term, hypothetically, do you think your husband would consider running?
I hope not.
Michelle.
I would actively work against that.
The whole world starts crying.
I would be at home working against it. And maybe a lot of people be like, good, we don't want him anyway. And I'm like, yeah, that's when right. I do believe in the need for new vision, right? I mean, the two terms is not just about we like him and we want it. It's just like we're changing and growing so fast. This is a hard job. And it requires new energy, new vision all the time, new ways of looking at the world, right? So I do believe that 8 years is enough.
Overseas, and some breaking news out of Europe. Donald Trump has ruled out acquiring Greenland by force while addressing world leaders at Davos. The president's speech lasted more than an hour, calming the international audience by assuring his country will not attack the Arctic island, whilst offering an ultimatum.
We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that. Okay, now everyone's saying, oh, good. They have a choice. You can say yes, and we will be very appreciative, or you can say no, and we will remember.
For more on this, Mark Stone reports on how seriously people in Europe were taking those threats.
Certainly from my conversations with European diplomats, they were taking him seriously. So in that sense, what he has said today, removing the prospect of military force to somehow acquire the territory, that is good news. But don't assume that that means that this massive, unprecedented rift of the transatlantic relationship has gone away. It has not. We will remember, so said Donald Trump, if you do not give us Greenland. There has to be a way for Europe to give Donald Trump what he wants in Greenland without giving him sovereignty of Greenland. And actually, if they can achieve that, that will be a good thing for Europe as well, because there's no question that Greenland is, as the ice melts in the Arctic, strategically important and vulnerable to China and Russia in 5 years or a decade's time. So having American might in Greenland, military might in Greenland, is a good thing. But what the Greenlanders don't want, and what the Danish don't want, and what the EU doesn't want, the European countries, is America just to take ownership of Greenland. That can't happen. So somehow they have to find a way for Donald Trump to be seen to have got his way. But at the moment, that compromise, that middle ground is looking hard to find, because he is so insistent that the only way he'll be happy is if he actually owns it. What's the point of a treaty, he says? What's the point of leasing land? You've got to own it in order to be able to properly protect it. So that's the wedge they've got to push at, that Europe's got to push at. Find a compromise, find an off-ramp for Donald Trump, make him happy, but also they need to make themselves look like they haven't just rolled over.
Let's get to Donald Trump now. He's in Davos and he's been talking about Greenland, sometimes Iceland, but we'll get to that a little later. He has backed off on these tariffs for NATO members because he says a framework deal, a longer-term deal has been struck, and that, he says, will satisfy everyone.
Really fantastic for the USA. Gets everything we wanted, including especially real national security and international security.
How so? Can you give us some details, please?
Well, the deal is going to be put out pretty soon, and we'll see. It's right now a little bit in progress, but pretty far along. It gets us everything we needed to get.
What did Mark Rutte say?
Well, he's a great leader. I think he's fantastic. The Secretary General was representing the other side, which is really us too, because, you know, we're a very important member of NATO. I've done a lot for NATO. And it's really nice. I mean, it's a deal that everybody's very happy with.
Let's go live to CNN Business Editor-at-Large, Richard Quest. He's in Davos. We spoke to him yesterday and we were making all kinds of predictions about what might happen today. Did you expect this, Richard?
No, is the short and simple answer. And with that, I can go inside and get warm. No, we knew the speech could be polemic, it could be offensive in parts, it could be insulting to some. We got in the speech initially the fact that Donald Trump was ruling out using force to take Greenland for the United States. And that was a huge relief to everybody here. But he still threatened the Europeans that, you know, he would remember if they didn't give it to him. And then late into the evening, suddenly we got word that there had been this meeting between Trump and Rutte, the Secretary General of NATO. Donald Trump puts out this Truth Social post where he talks about a framework deal having been reached. Mark Rutte tells me that he agrees that is the wording, a framework deal. And next, you know, we have from Donald Trump. So a series of events that we expect in the days ahead will dramatically reduce the tensions. If you were to ask me what I think the deal encompasses, it's probably a wider deal, not involving sovereignty, but a wider deal over the whole Arctic.
OK, so we've seen the reaction of European leaders. Mark Rutte, Donald Trump says he's a great leader. That's probably because he called him daddy a couple of months ago. But we also have, the French president, Emmanuel Macron, with his aviators on saying, well, you can't capitulate to bullies. So it does seem like, there's this long-term deal here. Trump has these European leaders, it would seem, right where he wants them.
I wouldn't go that far, no.
Okay.
Because what we end up with is a situation where we might have been here anyway, and you ask the question, did we need to go through all this angst, anger and annoyance? And I think that's where it really comes down to, because at the end of the day, you may have been in a position that you could have ended up with regardless.
Yeah. OK, so how's the lay of the land now? Is anyone talking about anything else other than Greenland today? I mean, there's a few concerns around the economy, inflation worldwide.
Yeah, there are. Yes, there are. We're getting back to more economic issues in the days ahead. I think there's going to be a lot more about those sort of talks in a moment.